obviously this is about the HROs. Well, it's about one of them for sure. It's about one of them. There's an HRO filed by Aaron Imholt against Patrick Melton. Now, Aaron Imholt has also filed an HRO against me. HRO stands for Harassment Restraining Order in Minnesota. And in 4 days, now on the 23rd, we will go to court to resolve this, in which I am fairly confident that those HROs will not be sticking around. I don't know if that's true or not. You never know. You just can kind of make your best guess. But the bases for the HROs are extremely flawed. All right. And any sober analysis of the HROs themselves that's given with any, I'm going to say it, with any sort of credibility and compensation for any potential biases and stuff like that, with any integrity or honesty, would show that these are obviously, there are obvious problems with them. And the problems are not like small things. They're fatal to the HROs themselves. And I've talked a little bit about mine. You know, I think we kind of went through it on one of the shows. Did we go through it? I feel like we did. But I've talked a little bit about mine. I haven't talked about Patrick Melton's yet. Well, I was watching This Little Piggy, which is a show about Aaron, and some people I knew were on it, and so I was watching this show and laughing along, and they pull up this video clip of Fat Sean Martin, also known as Potentially Criminal, doing like a read through of the HRO and talking about it as if this thing is like, a possibility. And he's talking about this, and I'm like, but your legal analysis is lacking any analysis or anything regarding the law at all. Like there's not even a nod to the law itself for like what needs to happen or what any of this stuff means. He's just like, well, that's just how it goes, guys. It just is. It just is. It's like, no, how it goes is not like that at all, actually. An HRO is a serious legal matter, and it has a process by which you defend basically the ex parte order that you got once it's challenged by the respondent. The respondent says, hey, like they don't get to restrict my liberty. And that's the key part of an HRO. It is a restraining order. It restrains you from doing certain activities. And it's, it's a step beyond. It's a step beyond the existing law, because we all have a restraining order against harassing someone. Harassing someone is illegal. There's a harassment stalking statute in every state, I believe. So there's a stalking statute and a harassment statute in every state. And they talk about like what behaviors constitute harassment, which means that there is a legal standard. There is something that you have to show that the other person is doing to merit a restriction on their liberty. Think about it this way. Like so the ex parte order against me prevents me from being within 1,000 feet of Aaron's house. Now I don't have any reason to go anywhere near his house. I haven't been to his, I think the last time I went to his house was April 8th or something like that. Sometime between like April 4th and April 8th of 2024 was the last time I was there. And I was invited. Lady Rackets and I went up. We watched a baseball game with Aaron and a friend of his. And it was fine. Like we had drinks, we had cigars. It was fine. It was a fine time. It was just a few days before a whole bunch of things would change. And that's just how it was. But that's okay. But I don't need to go, I don't have any need to go anywhere near his house, generally speaking. So I don't really care about the 1,000 feet, but what if I do? What if I do have to go somewhere there? Now my liberty is restricted. I'm not able to do something that I would otherwise be legally perfectly able to do because of this. Or it's a crime. It's a potentially criminal act. There you go. And so obviously I would want to fight this. The other thing we didn't discuss with my HRO is that he asked for specifically no mentions of his name. The judge didn't grant that. I am able to talk about him. I'm able to talk about him just fine. Like I'm not prohibited in any way from speaking. So that's really important. What I'm not able to do is attempt to contact him either directly or indirectly. So I'm not direct contact is pretty simple. You call, text someone, go up to them, talk to them, etc. That's a direct contact. Indirect contact is that you do something by which you are attempting to communicate with someone, and you do it in a way in which you know that they will see it, or you have a reasonable expectation of them to see the communication, not see that they've been spoken about. There's a very, very important distinction there, and I think a lot of people miss that. But just because they see that they were spoken about does not make that an attempt at indirect contact. Indirect contact would be like you record a video or a message, and you send it to someone. You say, "Hey, will you give this to whoever?" Or will you stand outside with a boombox and play this audio message, right? Like, will you make sure this person gets that? That is an attempt at indirect contact. And sometimes those are overt and sometimes they're surreptitious, but like, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm restrained from doing, either indirect contact or direct contact, which again, I haven't had reason to talk to him in a long time. Plenty to talk about him. But and then I'm not allowed to go within 1,000 feet of his house, and I can't be in his presence. Which, again, all of these things are actually fine by me as far as like the concept, because I already do this. Like I don't really make attempts to contact him. He blocked me on everything forever ago, so it's like I can't really do that anyway. And then I definitely don't want to encounter him or like be in the same room or place as him. Like that's not on my agenda. And I haven't made any attempts to do so. So like in theory, like I'm fine with this. However, as someone who's on probation, right, I have no desire to have a criminal issue to potentially deal with, even if it would resolve favorably for me in the long run, because like I'm not going to have any intent to do any of this stuff. So I have to fight the restraining order because I can't have this stupid thing just hanging around. There will be someone who will accuse me of violating it, and that, I'm not going to deal with that while I'm on probation, especially. I wouldn't deal with it anyway. I haven't done anything to merit a restraining order. And frankly, neither has Patrick Melton. Patrick Melton has made a couple off-color jokes about Aaron's daughter, but those are jokes about someone that Aaron talks about publicly. You don't have to like them. I don't have anything negative to say about those kids at all. Like I said, my kids miss them, and they always had a good time hanging out and stuff like that. So I don't have anything to participate in on that front. But that being said, like I'm smart enough to know like what's a joke and what isn't a joke. And I think most other people are too. I think many of them are just dishonest about it. But here's the thing. Making jokes about someone's kid is not illegal and is not restrictable. And if you ask someone to stop making jokes, like, will you stop making jokes about my kid? They can say no. They can say no. What they can't do is make the jokes to you to a point where it is harassing, annoying behavior, where it's repeatedly, if it's interrupting your life or intended to cause mental stress to you. But that's a specific thing. There are ways to do that. Like, again, it almost always involves ensuring that the target audience receives the message, like indirect contact. That is what harassment ends up being. Harassment, there's a First Amendment. Congress can't make a law abridging speech. The harassing activity can't be the speech. It has to be what the action associated with the speech is. Either the speech is delivered in an annoying way that prevents someone from peacefully enjoying their lives, like you call someone over and over and over. You send them tons of text messages or emails, something like that. You reach into their lives and give an interruption. Or the nature of the message is something that goes beyond protected speech. So you're talking about something like a true threat, or like an intentional infliction of emotional distress, which is a hard thing to actually get to. But you can imagine, like, if someone lost a relative, and so then you constantly like remind them like of some gruesome detail of the relative's death, like it's something very specific that bothers them. That would be like, and enough to where like it causes them anxiety and causes them to shut down. You have to have demonstrable negative mental health effects for this to be harassment. So there are legal standards in all this, and there are ways to analyze this. All of this is like real. It all exists. And yet this fat slob is sitting there without any of the analysis at all. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to watch this. This is akin to anybody else doing anything